Salam. Assalamualaikum. Korang nampak slide saya tak?
Nampak, madam.
Bangun. Student. Dah nampak slide saya tak? Ke tak nampak?
Nampak, madam.
Nampak, madam.
Nampak Dr. Tara.
You can share your videos when you have time. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Good morning to all of you. Okay, dengar Alright, okay. Before we start with sharing session by Madam Nurul, I think better for me to recall back the criteria or the rubric for your final presentation. So nanti awak boleh linkkan rubrik permakahan dengan skill yang akan di-share oleh Madam Nurul. Okay, clear suara saya?
Ya, Dr. Tara.
Okay, good.
Clear, madam.
Alright. So, okay. Just want to remind our final presentation for FYP will be held in week 14. Okay, now we are in week 13. So, week 14 actually for FYP1. So all sections like BQE, BIL, BFAME, ICE for FYP1, please check with your section coordinator. Who's your panel? 2 panels will be assigned to judge you during the presentation. Okay, for FYP2 degree and FYP diploma, in book you have to present in week 15. So try to meet the deadline lah. Jangan ada nak buat week 16 ke, jangan. Try to meet in week 2. Start from Sunday till Thursday. Itu kita consider sebagai 1 week. Okay. So actually what's the purpose of presentation? Of course our presentation is one of the main assessment which contribute around 20%, 35%. It depends on your program. It depends on your cost. FYP2 berapa persen, FYP1 berapa persen, and FYP2 berapa persen. Please go back to your slide before about the percentage of presentation. And then the purpose of presentation actually to summarize the problem, to summarize your project, to report to the panel or to the audience the progress of your study, and of course to present your current work. And then you have to give them the results, conclude the whole project. And then during the presentation, after you complete everything, you have to go for some demo in front of the panels. And there are around 5 to 15 minutes for Q&A session. So you have to prepare with prepare yourself lah dengan jawapan-jawapan yang meyakinkan panel-panel. Alright, so next is I want to show you the rubric. Actually FYP1 saya dah explain semalam. Untuk FYP2 and diploma belum. So kita go through sikit-sikit lah secara general. Okay, this one FYP1 has been explained before. So we proceed with FYP2. Okay, actually the rubric for FYP2 degree and FYP diploma sama, is similar. The criteria is the criteria listed similar, which will start with introduction, and then you have to go through the objective. If you have 2 objectives, please state all the 2 objective, and then for kalau 3 lah awak letak, and then content of presentation, Q&A. For FYP2 and FYP diploma, kalau ada prototype, please go for demonstration. Boleh pergi pada live demonstration, but please do backup lah, like please do the demonstration before, like you record the demo video and then you just play during the presentation pun okay. Demonstration ni actually dia more tu kepada software apa yang you pakai. Contoh macam student IL, dia tak ada prototype tapi dia ada pakai software. So time tu awak boleh play around with your software lah. And then you get the answer from, you get your data from in vivo, and then maybe you analyze your data using SPSS. Boleh tunjuk the modern tools tu. Modern tools tu macam software tadi tu. Software tadi itulah, tidaklah nanti panel anggap awak reka cerita tanpa mengetahui any software yang awak cerita di dalam slide. So kita tunjuk sikit, ada point kat situ. Okay, and then of course presentation skill which will be present by Madam Nurul nanti. Okay, untuk introduction, kita pergi balik pada introduction. Saya nak really focus on introduction. Please don't put sebiji abstract. No. Introduction is not about abstract. Maybe you can put you have to trigger a panel about the problem statement. Maybe you want to trigger a panel about background of your study. Don't put abstract. Abstract is totally wrong. Abstract dalam thesis yes, but di dalam presentation a big no. Okay, for objective, don't just put 1, 2, 3 settle and then you just read. No. Try to make it very clear. Yes, you considered 1, 2, 3 objective, but you have to explain. You have to explain in very good or in very clear manner. Okay, for content of presentation, if you refer to your rubric form, actually content of presentation has around 5 elements. Okay, I go to the real rubric. Awak boleh dapatkan, okay, the rubric form for 3 assessment, thesis, logbook and presentation can be downloaded from VLE. So please refer to VLE. Okay, untuk presentation. Under content of presentation, you have to ensure that the originality of your material during your presentation. So you kena the slide is very unique, like it's from you. Please don't just copy paste from somewhere, and then you have to go to the background methodology. Methodology. For the methodology part, it's good for you to consider the flowchart of your study. Flowchart tu bukannya flowchart FYP. First week meet supervisor, second week you meet you go for the visit. No, it's not like that. Dia adalah flowchart awak punya project tu. Contoh, I give one example of student who plan to do electric car by using solar panel. So the flowchart sekarang ni adalah sunlight hit the panel and then the panel will generate voltage. Itulah flowchart of your project. Bukannya jumpa supervisor, hantar logbook, bukan. Itu memang boleh markah kurang lah. Sebab itu bukan di dalam konten yang sepatutnya. Okay, seterusnya. You have to consider, of course, your results. Your result. And result tu apa benda? Result tu yang macam saya kata lah. Mesti ada graph, mesti ada bar chart, mesti ada figure. Itu adalah result. And then you have to describe the result. Jangan letak graph lepas tu tak describe. Itu sebenarnya result lah yang paling banyak sekali markah. So please make sure during your presentation dekat bahagian graph tu lah awak nak panjangkan sikit pun dekat bahagian graph tu lah. Sebab graph tu penunjuk yang awak dah berjaya dapat. Okay. Tetapi you have to very careful lah bila dah panjang sangat result awak tu, analisis pun awak dah cerita guna software apa, MATLAB ke, LabVIEW ke, NVivo ke, SPSS. So awak kena very bersedia, be prepared with the soalan, the question lah. Sebab bila kita dedahkan betul kita punya presentation dengan certain element, part tu lah yang akan ditanya banyak. Jadi awak kena betul-betul faham dengan apa yang awak buat. Okay. So settle untuk elemen yang patut ada dalam content of presentation. Kalau still confused, please go back to the rubric form. Again, nak score in presentation senang je. Nak score in thesis senang. Logbook pun senang. Macam mana? Refer logbook. Sebab panel tak akan bagi luar markah. Tak boleh bagi markah luar daripada rubrik. Dia bergantung pada rubrik. Okay, sekejap kita pergi pada slide again. Okay. FYP1 saya dah cerita semalam, so dia orang dah faham sebenarnya. Okay, FYP2, FYP diploma sama kita tadi sama je. Okay, apa elemen-elemen secara general lah. Okay, tadi saya cakap pompang, maybe ada yang blur-blur lagi pagi ni kan. So okay, this one is very a short term lah. First, akan ada introduction, masukkan problem statement, masukkan objektif, masukkan methodology. Kalau FYP1 tak ada result lagi, dia still preliminary. So maybe dia boleh letak expected result, apa yang dia expect. Tapi untuk FYP2 and FYP diploma, dah ada result, dah ada discussion, dah ada analysis, tolong letak. And then of course the conclusion. Conclusion kena ada markah, dekat 20 markah kalau tak salah saya. Sangat-sangat penting conclusion. Okay, ini secara teknikal lah. Okay, saya bagi contoh. You have to present in front of your 2 panels in week 15. Okay, contoh week 15. So, what's the step yang awak kena buat? First kali, untuk FYP2. Okay, saya pandang lah ni FYP2 lah. Sekejap FYP2, FYP je lah. Okay. Okay, the medium is team. Kekal dengan teams. Caranya students, after you get the list of panel, you have to set the appointment with your 2 assigned panels. Contact diorang. Ada nombor phone. Kalau tak ada nombor phone, just ask your section coordinators. Tanya ke kawan. And then you slowly WhatsApp them, tanya bila free. Kalau boleh buat serentak. Okay, sebab tak perlu nak ulang-ulang. Buat serentak lagi nice. After you get the free time and free date, go to Teams meeting. Awak set macam ni. Pergi dekat calendar. Awak dekat belah at the top of the right side there is a meet now button if I'm not mistaken. Go for meet now and then pergi kepada join now. So awak boleh invite and then invite 2 panel tadi. Contohnya Dr. Ismail. Tolong letak full name ataupun email. Email lagi bagus lah. muhammadismail@unikl.edu.my. Contoh. Nak invite apa? Mazlan Zahid. Get their email lagi better lah. Email lagi accurate sebenarnya. Okay. After you invite them, both of them dah berada di dalam chat area tu. Then share your rubric form. Rubric form ni awak yang kena prepare, bukannya panel. Awak dapatkan, please download this form from VLE. Please fill your name, progress and your title, FYP title before share. Ini tak adalah panel nak kena assess 20 student. Semua tak ada nama. Dah dia mencari, meraba, dia pula nak kena type nama. No tolong isi nama dulu, progress and title, barulah share di dalam chat area. Okay. And then after you complete your presentation, there are question Q&A session lah, di mana saya dah collect from 6 course ataupun 6 program berapa timing dia. Untuk BIL, kata section coordinator dia dalam 20 minutes dah okay, 15 minutes to 20 minutes session presentation tu. And then 5 minit, 5 minit for Q&A. Kalau QE, 50 minit. 50 minit presentation, 50 minit Q&A. So awak dapat imagine tak? QE memang lecturer dia ataupun panels dia memang ambitious nak tanya. Memang semangat nak tanya. Dia nak very details. So kena well prepared lah. For FAME, dia bagi dalam 20 minit and then Q&A is 10 minutes. Kalau ICE, for my section ini memang saya quite familiar. You have to present around 15 minutes up to 20 minutes and then 5 minit for Q&A. Di QE 15 minit, 10, inilah seperti listed ni lah, refer ni. based on this duration ni, section coordinator akan buat apa tu jadual lah supaya tidak bertembung sesama panel kan. So panel pun akan dapat imagine ataupun dia boleh plan dia punya schedule. Kalau student A dia dah boleh budget, student A 30 minutes and then student B boleh present after 30 minutes. Itu pentingnya kenapa ada duration ni, supaya panel boleh tahu dia free tak waktu tu. Okay, I think that's all for rubric sharing ni. Okay, so stop with sharing. Sekejap. 15 minit juga terlebih sikit. Saya budget 10 minit. Okay, before we start, saya tutup sekejap. Okay, I would like to introduce our speaker today, who is going to talk about how to nail your FAQ presentation, which will be held 1 or 2 weeks from now. Our speaker is an English lecturer from Polytechnic Tunku Omar, Ipoh. Has experience in English education for 12 years. Experience in teaching and doing research in English language related to courses, programs such as effective presentation skills, public speaking, and job hunting skills. So guys, without further ado, I would like to invite Madam Nurul Huda Thalhah to give a talk. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ara. But before that, I need to ask you whether or not you can hear me. Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes, okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay, how's your Ramadan so far? Students, it's okay, during my session, you can always unmute your mic. I have no issues with that because I like our session to be interactive. I don't want to be the only person, talking alone. How's your Ramadan so far?
Okay. Good.
Okay. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So now, are you on campus or are you at home basically?
At home.
At
Home.
home.
House.
At home. At home. Okay then. We do understand that because it's because of this pandemic situation, right? Yeah, even my students, only semester 1 and semester 5 are around. On the campus, whereby the other semesters they are at home. Okay, so basically for English, it's fully online course, online class, fully online. Okay, so without further ado, I think I would like to ask from Dr. Ara for giving me the permission to share my slides. Or can I share it now? Okay, right, into computer sound. Okay, screen. Okay, before that, thank you so much, Dr. Ara. Just a few words, right? I think this is the first time we do a collaboration together. Okay, so somehow Dr. Ara has been telling me that the students are going to have the final year project presentation. So perhaps I could give some input in terms of the skills required. Okay, in terms of the content, maybe you have prepared everything. Okay, and I'm sure that when doing a research, you cannot run away from having all these research objectives. Okay, problem statement or research background, yeah. And then all those methodology and so on and so forth. So I think in terms of the content, I'm not going to touch anything, but what I would like to share with you is basically some of the language expressions that you can use, some of the techniques, and because I just read your rubric, yeah, I just read the criteria of evaluation, and when I look at it, I feel like I have a different slides or a different input that suits the the intended learning outcome for today's sharing session basically. But then because I focus much on the presentation, so perhaps maybe I could just share the slides with Dr. Ara in terms of the language expressions that you can use when it comes to describing the graph and charts and so on and so forth. So maybe you can just like read them through and then just apply that in your presentation later. So today is just like very general, on the surface only, what you should prepare when it comes to presenting your final year project. Okay, so let me just share with you the screen. Right, so this is the slides that I'm going to share with Dr. Ara, because when she explained just now about the graph and charts, you know, about the data, and I feel like, oh my God, I should have put this content into today's lesson, basically, today's sharing session, but then I did not do that. So perhaps later I'm going to just give Dr. Ara these slides, because this slide covers every single detail on the language expression, on the structure, what kind of structure that you can apply in your presentation. When you describe your data later, okay, when you describe your findings, definitely there are certain language expressions that you can use when you want to describe about the pie chart, the bar graph, so on and so forth. So maybe we are not going to cover that today. Okay, so this one, I'm going to give to Dr. Ara, and Dr. Ara, I hope that you can just pass to the students so that they can apply all this in their presentation later. Okay, so moving on, are you able to see the slides here? Guys? Are you able to see the screen here? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So worry not. I'm going to do this session very quick. We are going to finish this session very quick. I hope that maybe around 45 minutes, because I don't want to bore you. And then what matters most is, you know, when it comes to delivering a good presentation, the key, okay, of a successful presentation is always preparation and confidence. Okay, of course content is also very essential, but if you don't have confidence, if you don't practice beforehand, perhaps you're not going to have a good outcome. Okay, so let's have a look at today's sharing session. Okay, FYP online presentation, how to nail it. Okay, how to nail it, basically. How to nail it is an informal expression. It's not really formal. Okay, basically when we have achieved success in doing anything, okay, you have done your presentation successfully, you have finished your final examination. So normally at the end of it, you will say nailed it. Okay, so that's why you know, we just put it in our title so that you know that at the end of the presentation, your FYP presentation, it is hoped that you are able to nail your presentation. Okay, so basically, are you this kind of person? I like speaking to an audience sitting in front of me. Are you that kind of person? Guys, can you please unmute your mic and respond to me?
No.
Are you this kind of person? No. How many no's and how many yeses? Okay, anyone here who likes presenting in front of people, who likes giving speech, or you know, communicating with other people in front of a public, for example, or in front of a group that has so many members? Anyone? No? I heard no's just now. Okay, but I do understand that it is natural. It's not just you, it's not just students. Sometimes we lecturers, okay, even politicians, even ministers, even president of the United States, when it comes to delivering a speech to the public, they might have this, you know, sometimes butterflies in their stomach. Okay, sometimes they feel this anxiety. Okay, so it's normal, but what matters most is how you overcome the problem. How you overcome your what do you call that, your nervousness. Okay, so we are trying to cover that, right? So moving on, okay, a lot of people, I think, all around the world, okay, they would suffer from glossophobia. Okay, so maybe some of you have known this word, okay, but if you somehow this is the first time you know about this word, so it's basically fear of public speaking. Okay, Glossophobia is fear of public speaking. When it comes to delivering a speech, when it comes to speaking in front of people, sometimes you get too nervous, you get, or perhaps you might have this panic attack, you feel so anxious, okay? You feel discomfort, okay? You are not comfortable with the situation, then suddenly you feel like you are about to faint. Or you have prepared everything on your mind, you have prepared like every single word, because sometimes I do know that certain students, they try to memorize words of the presentation. Guys, believe me, do not do that. It's going to ruin you, okay? It's going to ruin you, it's going to spoil you, because what matters most is you need to just have the confidence and be sure what to present. That's it, okay? So that's why the use of visual aids is very important, because if you have prepared good visual aids, only the key points, with the use of key points, then you are able to explain, elaborate, give supporting details, try to convince your examiners, okay? So on and so forth. Yeah. So I would say that do not memorize line by line. Please don't do that, all right? So I hope that you are not this type of person, okay? You are not suffering from glossophobia, in which you are too scared to present in front of the public, because whatever it is for your FYP, you need to nail it, right? You need to nail it. Okay, so as what this is just, I think maybe it's just a rhetorical joke, yeah. Okay, research has shown that most people would rather die than give a speech. Maybe for some people it's true. Maybe for a good researcher like Dr. Ara, maybe she would feel like it's bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. So somehow, what matters most is, but I do understand if you feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do the presentation. I'm too afraid to deliver my content, my findings. Okay, would I be able to convince my examiners? Would I be able to convince the panel? So worry not, guys. Everything comes from preparation. Okay, so what matters most is good speakers. Okay, they are not born basically. Okay, even I myself, I'm telling you, I think me and Dr. Ara, we've been friends since secondary school. Yeah, we attended the same secondary school. Okay, so somehow Dr. Ara would know me. Okay, definitely this Madam Nurul, maybe during schooling years, maybe I am not that confident. I was not that confident. But now, because I have become a lecturer, with the skills and training, and then I have undergone certain presentations, okay, during my undergrad years and in my master studies and so on and so forth. So basically I have developed some presentation skills that now I am no longer perhaps be afraid to speak in front of people. Okay, so worry not, guys. Good speakers are not born, they are developed. Okay, you just need to basically practice and try to develop your presentation skills in order for you to deliver your content or your message. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So whatever it is, definitely it comes with preparation. In order for you to give a good presentation, if you don't prepare, if you don't come up with good preparation, it's somehow it does not end positively. Okay, so preparation, I would say, is the key to a successful presentation. So what to prepare, when to prepare, and how to prepare, basically, I'm sure that Dr. Ara and the other panels, your other lecturers, they have guided you. Okay, that's why here in Polytechnic as well, okay, when it comes to presentation or final year project, we always ask the students to read and understand the rubric. Do not take rubric for granted, okay? Because rubric is basically the Bible for you, okay? The Holy Quran for you to understand. Okay, I'm not going to make that comparison, definitely, right? The noblest book is the Quran, okay? But the rubric is going to help you score. If you don't really understand which part that you have to focus on, okay? If you don't really understand which part of the evaluation that you have to strengthen, okay? no use for you to just present without having the background knowledge of the rubric. Okay guys, so it's very important for you to understand, read the rubric again and again so that it helps you to prepare for your content and presentation later. Okay, so let's move on to the planning part, okay, for FYP online presentation, because before this, perhaps pre-pandemic, the students got to meet their panels, okay, so like face to face. But now because of this pandemic, so we are confined with this situation where you stay at home and you have still, whatever it is an assessment. You need to score for your studies, so you have to do it online. All right, it's not easy for us as well. Okay, we the lecturers, the examiners, the panels, it's not easy for us as well, because sometimes we do have technical issues as well, just like you. Okay, but worry not, definitely we would understand, and perhaps that's why preparation is the key. You really need to know where to set up your laptop or PC. Okay, if you don't have a laptop, you're using your phone, so how to basically put your phone to ensure that half of your body can be seen by the panelists, okay, by the panel basically. So it's very important for you to take every single thing into consideration before executing your presentation, okay, because as what mentioned by Dr. Ara just now, you have to set up the meeting, right? You have to set up the online meeting, and you invite your examiners or your panels. So make sure everything is ready first, then only you can invite them. If it is not ready, okay, in terms of the adjustment, arrangement of the table, arrangement of your phone and whatnot, so don't you dare to invite them, okay? So because one single mistake, it could affect everything, right? Okay, so what matters most, guys, but the thing about presentation is you have to know your audience. So who's gonna be your audience is definitely, I think for Dr. Ara has mentioned to me that only for diploma students that they are doing the presentation in groups, right? Okay, but for degree students, you are doing it individually. Okay, so what matters most is you have to know your audience, who's going to assess you, who's going to evaluate your presentation. Is definitely your panels, right? Your examiners. Okay, it could be your supervisors, I'm not sure. Okay, what is the correct term that you use over there, but what matters most, you have to know them. For example, Dr. Ara, okay, is a funny lecturer. Okay, she's into comedy, she's into funny things, so perhaps you can win Dr. Ara's heart, okay, by starting your presentation with jokes, okay, by giving a wow factor to Dr. Ara, okay, somehow by inserting or injecting some funny elements, okay. So you have to know your panels. Who are they? What are they interested in? Okay, because I can see Dr. Ara now is so how to say, into goal saving. So perhaps you try to, I don't know, okay, try to inject some elements that perhaps likable, okay, by the panels. So you have to know them, understanding their level of knowledge. So Dr. Ara is a lecturer with a doctorate in certain discipline, so she can be funny sometimes, right? But at the same time, you really have to know to be serious, because FYP is all about academic discussion. Okay, you are going to present your findings, so what matters most is you have to take it seriously. Okay, so on and so forth. The environment. Okay, whether that's why I mentioned just now, I'm not sure whether at that particular time, whether your lecturer, your panel is going to be at the office or maybe at home, because we do it online. Okay, not so sure. So you really have to know everything about who's going to listen to you during the presentation. Okay, moving on. Guys, I don't want to short sendiri ya. So far, okay guys, are you able to follow me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So far,
Yes.
yeah? Alright, okay, moving on, yeah. Alright, so once you have known your audience, sorry, what happened to my slide here? Okay. So again, you have to know, once you have known your audience, is basically you have to, after that you have to know the objective of your presentation. And what I got from Dr. Ara's briefing just now, okay, because your presentation involves a little bit of demonstration, okay, in which you have to demonstrate something in terms of the data analysis and whatnot. So you really have to make sure that all that is prepared, you know, everything is prepared in terms of the analysis, in terms of the tool, if you are using a certain software, okay, if you are using a certain application, how to compute, how to generate, and so on and so forth. So whether your presentation is to persuade, convey information, convince and make a point, educate, entertain your audience, or demonstrate. So I would say of all these 6 objectives here, perhaps yours is convince and make a point, convey information, and demonstrate. Okay, 3 objectives here. That means not objective of your research, yeah, not objective of your project, is objective of your presentation, because after you have basically identified your objective for presentation, you are going to prepare the tools and the things that are going to be used during the presentation. Okay, moving on. Right, so know your project findings. Right, so basically it's your data, right? Once you have done your final year project, you have got your data, you have analyzed your data, and then when it comes to analyzing your data, so you've got your findings. Okay, for example here, okay, I know that this is a social science in which it's not related to your studies, it's not related to your program. I'm just giving this as an example. Okay, I'm just giving it as an example so that you know what you should have on your mind. You should know the issue or problem of your project. Because in doing or executing any kind of project, you have to come up with a project based on the problem, right? Okay, because from the problem, then only you can come up with new findings or perhaps solutions. Okay, and so on and so forth. So you have to know the issue or problem, and the project involve whom. Okay, for example, that's why it might not be relevant to your program or to your studies, but this is just an example. Okay, so the WH questions that you have to know, the issue or problem of your project. Example here, students' satisfaction of sport facilities at UDKL MITEC. Okay, so what do you want to know is, what you should know is basically the problem of your project. So student satisfaction of sport facilities, for example, and the problems related to sport facilities. Why are the equipment are not sufficient? Why people don't really do physical exercises at the sport facilities? Are the equipment good? Are the equipment well equipped? Are the equipment available to all students? Okay. So who will involve? Okay, definitely your respondents. Okay, your respondents, whether it's UniKL MITEC students or maybe the community. Okay, or maybe because if you come up with a project, for example, software, who would benefit the product? Okay, who would benefit the product? Where is definitely the setting, the situation. Where does it involve the community at Pasir Gudang, right? Does it involve UniKL community, right? So on and so forth. Okay, and then why is basically your research objectives. Okay, why is to you have to know. Sometimes they would ask you, okay, panels would ask you, okay, why did you come up with this kind of topic? Okay, so why this? Why not? Why A? Why not B? Right? So you have to really be prepared with your objective. Why did you do the research? Okay, because I'm sure that you have gone through the consultation with the panels first, right? Then they would approve your topic, your project. Then only you proceed with the process, right? In executing and carrying out the project itself. Okay, so why here is basically the objective of your research. Example here, to evaluate student satisfaction of UniKL MITEC sports facilities, to identify the problems related to UniKL MITEC sport facilities. Okay, let's say that you only have 2 objectives, then 2 je lah. Okay, no need to add some more. Okay, oh, Madam Nurul stated in the sharing session we need to put 3. No guys, whatever you have discussed with your supervisor, okay, whatever you have prepared earlier, so you use the objective of your research. All right, and then another one is to suggest ways. And normally if you come up, with a project that is based on problem, definitely we need to find solution. So that is the objective of your project. You want to solve certain issues related to certain things, right? Okay, how? That means so this is the question related to your methodology. Okay, what method did you use for your project? Okay, as what you mentioned just now, I think Dr. Ara mentioned that you use certain software, you did this analysis and whatnot, so you explain. And then as what mentioned by Dr. Ara just now, again, you don't explain the Gantt chart. I know that she was trying to say about the Gantt chart, right? From the week 1, week 2, week 3, from the first stage until the final stage. You don't explain that. How is basically the method that you use to get your data, okay? To get your findings, what method did you use? Did you use SPSS? Okay, so on and so forth. How did you conduct the research? Okay, it could be a lab work. It could be from questionnaire or interview session, so on and so forth. Depends on your project. Okay, guys, so far okay? So far okay? Okay. All right. Okay. Please, you can always interject me. That means, madam, what are you talking? Okay. Can you please clarify this? Can you explain this? Okay. You can always interject me. No problem. I don't mind having students to interrupt me while I'm giving input, because I would prefer to have questions rather than me, being short sendiri, explaining about stuff that you might not be able to understand that much. Okay. All right. So let's proceed. Okay, language focus. Dr. Ara mentioned to me that you are going to use fully English for your presentation. So guys, it's very important for you to come up with flawless grammar, okay? But I know that it's too ambitious, because sometimes I do understand we are not native speakers, we are not American, okay? We are not Harry Potter, okay? So somehow, worry not, we just, okay, for your level, try to at least make sure that certain important points, the grammar is not that atrocious, teruk sangat. Okay, so you just have to know that when it comes to explaining about your research objectives, what kind of part of speech that you should use. Okay, for example, for your title, definitely you have to begin with nouns, kata nama. Okay, example, a study on student satisfaction of sport facilities at UniKL MITEC. Okay, a study on all this technical and scientific stuff that you are doing. Okay, a study on yada yada yada. Okay, you don't begin your title with a verb. You don't begin with verb, guys. It's a big no-no, right? Reviewing yada yada, or to review. Okay, to find, to evaluate. No, it's a big no-no. Title always begin with nouns, kata nama. Okay, at this level, I'm not going to explain to you what is noun, what is adjective, and all that. I assume that you have understood that. Okay, noun is kata kerja, noun is kata nama, verb is kata kerja. Okay, so it's common to use action verbs to convey your ideas in your statement of why. That means, when you explain about your research objective, guys, it's very important for you to start with to plus verb. What's your objective? Oh, I want to live happily in life. What's your objective of life? I want to live happily. So to plus verb. What's your final year project objective? What's your research objective? I want to investigate. Okay, to investigate of yada. To determine, untuk menentukan, to identify the problems related to sport facilities, right? So when it comes to explaining about your research objectives, it has to be with to plus verb. Okay, you have to remember this is very important, because from the presentation, guys, from the introduction and background of the research and from your research objectives, from there is going to direct you to a good presentation. Okay, if you don't start with good content, perhaps there and then your panel, oh my god, atrocious, apa teruk sangat slide ni, you know, and then it would spoil their mood, it would somehow affect their mental. Okay, perhaps they feel like atrocious sentence structure, atrocious slides, atrocious grammar, I could not even comprehend whatever you are trying to highlight here. Okay, perhaps, okay, that could be the, what do you call that, the judgment that they give you. Okay, so try to start your presentation with flawless grammar, flawless sentence structure. That means no mistakes. Okay, grammatical free. Try to use that, yeah. Okay, moving on. So far okay, guys? So far okay? Okay, so right. Okay. I think I have explained about this. I think it's more or less the same with this now. Okay, this one. Okay, sorry, this one, yeah. Now, just now I have talked about the language focus. Okay, that you should prepare for your not only for your verbal presentation but for your visual aids as well. Okay, and the next one is when it comes to designing your visual aids. Okay, so your visual aids is definitely your slides. If there are only words, people will get bored. Your panels would definitely fall asleep. You know, no interesting avatar or images or illustrations to support your findings. So try, when it comes to explaining about your findings, I know that maybe you know your findings are graph and charts, right? Is it clear? Is yes or no? Your findings, graph and charts, guys? Because yes. Because I have no idea about your background. I don't know in terms of the findings, how are you going to present the data? So perhaps maybe I can just show you here. Perhaps is it more or less like this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay, right. So basically you have your data like this. You have your data like this. Your graph and charts, it has to have perfect parts. That means you don't just strongly agree, disagree, neutral, like that. Every single data here, what do you call it, the key features we call it, yeah, the key features here, you have to have the title. For example, here is the bar graph. So the bar graph itself has this data, okay, has these key features. Strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. Okay, let's just find any other, okay, for example, pie chart like this. Okay, agree, disagree juga ke? How about others? Let me just try to find. This is students' responses. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry because why is it that the data is, the graph or chart is small and the sentence is large enough? Is because this is the input that we are giving to our students, how to present graph and charts. Because sometimes they present just so you see there agree 20%, disagree 40%, just like that. Oh guys, please don't do that. It's going to ruin your marks. Definitely, it's going to affect your marks terribly. So every single thing here, it starts with a proper structure. For example, you have to explain first about the graph, whether it's a pie chart or whether it's a bar graph. Okay, so what does it show? For example, here, okay, I'm giving you one example. The bar graph shows the students' responses on the sufficiency of sports facilities at UOP. Sorry, I'm using UOP here, is Ungku Abang Polytechnic. Just try to this is my context. On the sufficiency of sport facilities at UOP in 2015 and 2020. So first, when you have graph and charts, you have to explain first about the chart or the graph. Okay. After that, that means you have to explain the title. The title refers to what? Oh, it shows about the students' responses, jawapan student. Okay. Students' penilaian on the sufficiency of sport facilities. Cukup ke tak cukup? Sufficiency. Whether there are enough sport facilities and equipment. Okay, and then not only that, that is what we do here at Polytechnic. I'm not sure about UniKL Tech. Kadang-kadang nanti Dr. Ara, okay, Madam Nurul, what have you just explained to my students? We don't need that. I'm so sorry. This is how we do when it comes to describing graph and charts. It has to be clear. What is the vertical axis, and what is the horizontal axis? Okay, X and Y. You have to explain that so that the panel would understand. Okay, now the student is talking about the vertical axis, which is the number of students. Or now the student is talking about the horizontal axis, which is the students' responses. Okay, so that it's clear. It directs you and it gives you a good organization in terms of delivering your findings and analysis. Okay, so it's very important for you to highlight everything. What's the title? Oh, the title is the bar graph shows yada yada yada. The vertical axis represents, mewakilkan. Okay, it represents number of students. The horizontal axis represents the students' degree of responses. They are strongly disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. Moving on. Then only you have the body. That means you analyze the data. Based on the number of responses, it can be seen that in 2015, most of the respondents disagreed. After you have analyzed, definitely you've got your data, right? And then you mentioned, 15 disagreed, 5 strongly disagreed, and then the comparative part. However, 5 of the students believe that the sport facilities at UOP were adequate, cukup. With 3 of them agreed and another 2 strongly agreed. Okay lah, this one renyah, I would say. You just have to tell out how many disagreed, how many agreed. Okay, in terms of the breakdown of the responses, agreed or disagreed. Okay, because it depends on the researchers basically. Okay, I remembered my lecturer told me that nowadays having neutral in the middle of the questionnaire, okay, for the table to get responses is not really relevant nowadays. You just have to give whether agree or disagree. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but it depends. It has been a debate to other researchers. You can ask Dr. Ara. Try to ask your experts. Try to ask your experts at your institution. Okay, because this is like different guru, different method. Okay. Different expert, different teacher, different ways of conducting the analysis. Okay, and then that's for the body. And then you mention, okay, which one is higher, which one is lower, using comparison. And then the last one is the mini conclusion. For every single graph or chart, you have a mini conclusion. It's not a conclusion of your whole presentation. Is a mini conclusion of every single graph or chart. So based on this graph, it can be concluded that majority of the students felt that the sport facilities at UOP were insufficient, tak cukup, which is true. At PO, okay, it's very, very sad. Our equipment is not as good as what you have at your institution. Okay, so you can see the comparison here. Okay, 2015, 2010. 20. So this is what we are going to have if you analyze graph and charts. Okay, maybe tak sempat to cover everything today for this graph and chart, so that's why I'm giving the slides here to Dr. Ara later so that you can use the structure. Okay, the sentence structure that you can apply later in your presentation. Okay guys, so everything is there. introduction, presenting the visuals, analyzing data, making comparisons, what kind of structure that you can use. Okay, I would like to show, let me draw, you can clearly see that the highest, the lowest, majority, minority, comparison, okay, everything is there. All you have to do is you just have to study, revise, and apply in your presentation later. Okay, everything is there. You are the generation and Gen Z where everything is given to you. Okay, you can ask Dr. Ara during our time when we did our undergrad years. Oh my God, everything, like we had to go to the library. Okay, and when the lecturer giving it, when the lecturer was giving the input, we really had to understand and listen attentively. Okay, because every single word coming out from the lecturer's mouth, okay, very, very important. At the time, not every lecturer would use projector. Okay, that was during our time when we did our undergrad years. Okay, but during your time now, Gen Z, you are the generation, Z generation, everything is available, from technology and whatnot. So do not take them for granted. Okay, do not take them for granted. Okay guys, moving on. Tak nak lama-lama sangat, I don't want to bore you. Okay, so designing your visual aids, guys, make sure you have your images, make sure you have some illustrations, okay, to make them interesting, so that the panels could focus on your presentation. Okay, so reinforce your major points. That means only points. Do not put everything on the slide. Okay, what I've shown you just now, this one is not to be put on your slide, guys. This is what we are teaching the students in terms of the struktur ayat, language structure, to be used for presentation. Okay, your verbal presentation. So that's why we give everything. But of course, when it comes to your real presentation, your slideshow would not have every single word in it. Okay, don't do that. Okay, it's going to like give headache to your panels. Okay, so reinforce your major points. Only the key points are there on your slide. Multiply the audience's level of understanding the topic. Okay, so you can have like maybe highlight. Okay, as for example like this. Okay, I'm trying to highlight the word reinforce, multiply, clarify, create. So that's why I put it in blue color to show that that's the thing that I want to highlight, that I want to emphasize on. Okay, guys. So you have to do the same. I'm trying to teach you basically when it comes to preparing your visual aids, there are certain words that you need to highlight or you make it bold. Okay, so that you are trying to tell to the panels or your examiners that that's my emphasis, penekanan. Okay, I want to stress on that rather than this. That is my first point, followed by the second point, the third point. First finding, second finding, third finding. Okay, and run through the presentation. Of course, before you present, you try to practice first with your if you are doing it with group members like diploma students, try to practice first with your group members. Try to meet virtually first, right? Set up a meeting, online meeting, and then try to rehearse. Okay, try to practice before you do the actual presentation in front of the panels. Okay, and if at all possible, record your practice, view it, note if there's any flaws. Okay, and try to improve on them and practice again. Okay, as what we have mentioned just now, preparation. So that is part of the preparation. Practice is part of the preparation. Okay, moving on. Can I proceed, guys, to the next point?
Yes.
Okay, right. So in order for you to structure your presentation, make sure that you know the visual aids, and the content of your presentation. You have to structure accordingly. First, definitely introduction, okay, and then followed by the body, and then conclusion. So what to have under introduction, as what Dr. Ara mentioned just now, your background of the research, okay, research background, and problem statement, okay, and then your research objective, your research questions, okay, should be there under introduction. For the body, then you can have your findings, okay, data analysis of findings, okay, so that is your body basically, okay, finding number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, so on so forth. And when you want to do your demonstration, it's also under body, okay, it's also under body. Perhaps you explain first all the findings, and then at the end you get to demonstrate what you have prepared, okay. And then the last one is definitely the conclusion, where you review your main points. You review your main points, whatever findings that you have mentioned earlier, and then after that you open the session with Q&A, okay. And then at the end you thank the panels, you thank the other audience if there's any, and then you can just end your presentation smoothly, right? Okay. So what you should have for your body, I mean, what to stress on, yeah, when it comes to presenting your findings. You should focus on explaining your ideas as clearly as possible. That means your findings, okay? The body of the presentation must explain, support, and defend the findings found in your project. So that's why it is very important for you to highlight one by one. Finding 1, finding 2, finding 3, and then maybe at the end, demonstration. Or maybe it begins with the demonstration all the way. Okay, I don't know, because it depends on your project. It depends on your program and how you execute and carry out your project. So you try to adopt whatever you have learned today, okay, to suit your the project itself, okay, to suit your project. Whether it's only the demonstration, okay, all the way from A to Z, whether it's findings first, then at the end demonstration, it all depends on your project. Okay, guys. So this one is for diploma students, because you are going to do it. You are going to present with your group members, right? Okay. So this is the structure. So you start first. Try to get the attention and organize the beginning. Okay. Greet the audience first, and then lead the speech topic. The speech topic and objectives. It's too small. I don't want to touch on this. It's basically here one by one, okay? But you can have a look at it. Yeah? This is only the outline for you. It basically is an outline for you to refer to. Okay, I don't have to explain that because I think you can read on your own. Where is it this now? Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. This one. Okay, so you can just want to highlight that there's introduction, body, summary, okay, and then another, when you try to call out another speaker, then that person must, you know, take the turn. So it's very important, yeah, for you to give the turn and take the turn. How do you do that, yeah, for diploma students who are doing it in group? So it's very important for you to have, okay, now I would like to call upon my group member, Abu, okay, to continue explaining about the third finding of this project. Okay, so before you pass the turn, you have to mention first what what the next speaker is going to talk about. Jangan, simply you give eye contact, something like that. Okay, you just give eye contact. Okay, it's your turn now. No, you have to mention it to the panels that I would like to call upon Abu to proceed on the next point in which the explanation of yada yada yada. Okay, so you have to mention again and again. Basically, let's just say that you have 5 members in a group, so all the 5 members have to give the turn and pass the turn accordingly. How to give the turn and pass the turn? Okay, basically, you have to use the structure politely. Okay, after one person has ended their turn, okay, their part of delivering the content. So you have to thank that first person. Okay, thank you Rosma for explaining the first finding of this research. Okay, now for my part, I would like to explain about, so you have to have that structure before you jump to your content. Okay, so that is how you give the turn and pass the turn. Yeah? You take the turn and pass the turn effectively, right? Okay, is it clear, guys? So far, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that one person who is somehow who is ever willing to respond to me. Okay. I know that perhaps later maybe Dr. Ara is going to share the video with you, right? But please do not take this session for granted. It's very important for you to listen live here, okay, rather than you know, studying it later. So perhaps if you've got questions, you can always ask me straight away. Now moving on to organizing your content is basically how you follow the structure just now. First, you have to start your presentation with something rhetoric. Okay, how to say? That means you don't start with, okay, Assalamualaikum, good morning to Dr. Ara. Okay, that's so cliche. That's a normal presentation that is boring. Okay, I don't know if I were to be the examiner, okay, if I were to be the panel, maybe because I'm from English line, I love to see my students start their presentation with something rhetorical, something controversial, something that make the panels wow, 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 something like that. Okay, we are going to have that. We are going to stay focused on you. When we look at you, we feel like, okay, this is interesting. I want to listen more. Okay, so you can perhaps how to do that. I don't know. Maybe later when you do your own business, or when you work later for any organization or reputable companies. Normally, when we call this pitching, yeah, pitching. So when you do your pitch, normally it's not going to be the same boring. Okay, Assalamualaikum, good afternoon, everyone. Basically, you start with something big. You start with, have you ever wondered that? Something like that. Have you ever thought that one day you could become a millionaire? Something like that. But of course, guys, you have to use whatever relevant and applicable to your research, to your project. Okay? Do not, I'm just giving you some examples. Yeah? So of course, you have to come up with interesting opening. Okay? Example, engineering program is not for everyone. Okay? In executing final year project, it takes a lot of something like that. Then only after boom, 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 after you have like given your big opening, then only you can say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and good morning to our panels today, Dr. Ara and Dr. Abdullah, okay, something like that. So at your opening, you have to start with something rhetorical. That means something that is not really true, but something that it could be true. Okay, something that triggers people. Okay, something controversial, but maybe sometimes it could just be a funny story. Okay, so on and so forth. So start your opening with something fun, something funny, something rhetorical. Okay, for example, like this. Okay, I just put here Siti Nurliza because Dr. Ara is a big fan of Siti, right? So asking a rhetorical question, it could be, have you ever thought of inventing a time machine? So ladies and gentlemen, okay, after they have, you know, sometimes your panels would not answer, okay, believe me, okay, but they would feel like, oh, okay, a good start, okay, this student has a good start. I would like to hear more, okay. From your very beginning, from your opening, guys, it would give how to say, it would affect everything. If you at the very beginning, you do not show confidence, you do not show enthusiasm, you start your presentation with something boring, something that when we look at you, okay, even they themselves feel like sleeping, okay, so perhaps it might going to affect your presentation from A to Z, from your delivery, your content, okay, and so on and so forth. So avoid opening your speech or opening your presentation with something boring, something lame. So try, how about for this time around, try to do it, you know, with something different, okay, suitable with your project, right? And then you have to organize your body, guys, according to the, as what I mentioned just now, for your body is your findings, findings and analysis. And organize the body with discourse markers and signposting. Apa benda pula tu? Okay, all the discourse markers and signposting is basically all these, what do you call that? In bahasa, kata hubung and how to say, the linking words, and structure that help you organize your content better. Okay, when you want to talk about your first point, definitely you start with, okay, firstly, our first finding, okay, and then when you want to explain, this is because, you use that, and when you want to further elaborate on that, moreover or furthermore, okay, you use the word. Or when you want to conclude for your first point, therefore or thus, okay, you use that word. That is what we call all these signpostings and discourse markers to show that, okay, now this student has explained about the first data, the first finding, okay, and then moving on, the second finding, moving on to my second point, so you have to use that. Moving on, now I proceed with my second point, which is, okay, this is due to the fact that, okay, this is to show that the reason of this project is because, okay, the reason why we did this project is because, something like that. Okay, so all that, guys, is very, very important to show coherence, and to show you are linking from your main point to your supporting details. That means your data, your analysis, you have done the analysis, you've got your findings, but what are your findings? When you want to try to explain and convince to your panels, you really need this signposting and discourse markers, we call it. If not, your presentation will not sound and will not look organized. Okay, if not, the panels would, apa benda lah dia cakap ni kejap tu. Okay, so that's why you have to, first point, you start with firstly, or my first point is, okay, and then when you want to move to the second point, moving on to my second point, okay, which is yada. Okay, and then now I would like to proceed to my third point, and then now I have come to my final point, or the last point, so that we know, oh, okay, all together the student is presenting about the 4 findings that he or she has got. Okay, so clear? Okay. So all this, you can apply all this when you want to add something, when you want to sequence step, when you want to sequence your points, when you want to illustrate something, you want to show cause and effect, you want to compare, you want to qualify something, you want to make comparison and contrast, and when you want to emphasize on something, you can use some of the words illustrated here. Okay guys, sikit lagi. Okay, bear with me, sikit lagi. Right, so that's pretty much about signposting and discourse markers. Okay, now it has come to your conclusion part. So just now intro, and then your body, how you are going to put your body into the right organization. That means you have my first point, moving on to my second point, my third point, and then we have come to the end, which is the conclusion. Okay, intro, body, conclusion. So this is the part that you have to review your main points. You cakap balik, you mention. So just now I have talked about my 3 findings. So just now I have talked about the 2 findings that we've got from the project. Okay, and then at the end, you try to come out with, before you put to an end your presentation, you have to make sure that you try to leave something impactful to the panels. Okay, from that they would say, oh, okay, very good lah, the students, so convincing, so comprehensive, and then it ends with a positive closure. Okay, always leave positive remark at the end of your presentation so that it gives this wow effect, okay, to the panels. Okay, making the audience think about the presentation. Think about the benefits that we could get with good and well-equipped sport facilities. If we could come up with proper solutions for this, I am sure that a lot of UniKL MITEC students would be implementing what do you call that? Or making healthy lifestyle as their choice, something like that. Okay, example. Of course, you have to relate to your project. Okay. Okay, guys. At the end of it, also you have to include some values and impacts. It's more or less the same like just now. Okay, you have to mention the benefits gained from your project. How does it benefit the institution, UniKL MITEC? Yes, question? Is there any question from students? No? Even I myself, I have no idea whether I'm being shot sendiri or not, but I will trust you, okay? Perhaps you can later you are going to study today's video, okay, in which you can apply in your preparation later. Okay, guys. Before that, where do we stop this now? The values and impacts. That means the benefits gained from your project. How does it benefit your institution? How does it benefit the society and community? Or whether it gives the scientific, okay? Whether it could, how to say? Scientific, basically. Scientific, scientific and technological breakthrough. That means how your project could contribute to science, how your project could contribute to technology nowadays. Okay, right. And then at the end, thanking and inviting participation. Okay, and you are ready for the Q&A session. That's it basically. Okay, before you end your presentation, you convince your panels how your project is something meaningful, something impactful, whether it could be impactful to the institution or to the society or to the community, or it could be something beneficial to the scientific and technological breakthrough, to science itself. Okay, and at the end, you say thank you for listening. Now we would like to open for questions from the panels. Okay, now we are ready to accept any question from the panels. Okay, that's it basically. Okay, sorry guys, there's more. Because it's online, right? Because it's online presentation. So what to prepare for online presentation? I think Dr. Ara has mentioned it just now, has shared with you just now, but I'll just add up a few more. So what to prepare, guys? Make sure you use suitable signposts. Signposting now is mentioned. This is because, however, in contrast to, okay, moving on to my second point, okay, this is due to the fact that thus, hence, okay, in conclusion, so all that are signposting and discourse markers. Okay, very important guys, because if not, they feel like they are losing you. If you don't use signpostings and discourse markers, they are going to lose you. They wouldn't follow whatever you are trying to explain. Ingatkan still on the first point, rupa-rupanya dah fourth point. So that's why it's very important for you to highlight. Now, moving on to my third point. Okay, that's for my third point. That's the explanation of my third point. Now, I would like to move on to my final point. Okay, so signposting and discourse markers are very important so that they know, okay, for the content, this student has 4 main points. This student has only 3, but then it depends. Sometimes it's not about quantity for your content. Good marks are not based on the quantity of your points. It's basically the content itself, the elaboration, how well you explain to the panels effectively. Okay. Because this is an online presentation, make sure eye contact. Okay, look at the camera. Okay, look at the camera. Sometimes you might like back and forth. You look at the slide and then you look at the camera. Just what I'm doing the whole session. Look at the slide, look at the camera. Look at the slide, look at the camera again. To ensure that you maintain good eye contact with your panels. Okay, gestures. Okay, doesn't mean that you cannot use your hands. Even though that is online or virtual presentation, gestures are very important. If not, it's going to look boring. The panels are going to sleep. Okay, they feel like, okay, all right, see. Okay, so we don't want that to happen. Make sure you play around with your gestures, your facial expressions, your tone, and of course your visual aids. Very, very important. Okay, so maintain eye contact with the panels, gestures, use your hands, not too much. You janganlah bersilat pula in front of the camera. So make sure that you use minimal gestures to enhance meaning. And you want to talk about the first point. Okay, so how do you basically play around with your hands? You're not able to look at the something like this. Okay, you play around with your hands. Okay, facial expression is of course positive expression. Smile. Do not show your resting face. For example, that's your resting face. You are a person who doesn't smile. That's just your face. No judgment here. But when it comes to delivering your presentation, kenalah senyum sikit, right? So you have to show your positivity, show that you are prepared and you are into that moment. Okay, you are into that moment. You are so ready and prepared for the presentation. Okay, visual aids. Please do not put everything. Janganlah Assalamualaikum pun you nak letak dalam slide. Okay, so try to minimize the words, the elaboration. You can just do it on your own. Only the main points, only the findings are there. But in terms of the explanation and elaboration, together with supporting details, they should be minimal. Example, maybe you can put there, yeah. Okay, but in terms of the elaboration, not too much. Okay, avoid using colloquialisms, jargons, and too many cliches, meaning words that people do not understand. Okay, jargons here is words that used by a specific setting. For example, if you are engineering students, there are certain technical terms that you use when it comes to delivering your presentation. Okay, but make sure that they are understood by your panels. Okay, make sure all of the words or jargons are understood by the panels. Okay, voice projection, that's why you really have to make sure that your mic is working properly. Okay, that try to test with your friend first, because you are going to present it individually, right? So only you and your 4 degree students. For degree students, you are going to present it individually. So your panels need to really hear you clearly. So how to test your voice projection, whether or not it can be heard by the other party. whether or not it can be heard by the panels, is of course you have to adjust or make arrangement with your friends first, with your classmate first. Weh, boleh dengar tak aku cakap ni? Okay, try to try to make a meeting with your friend first. If your friend, he or she tells you that, okay, so perfect, I can hear you clearly, there's no problem with the mic, then only you are good to go. Then only you can proceed with the presentation. Okay, so please janganlah at the very last minute, if you have made the appointment for the presentation at this particular hour, for example at 12 noon, janganlah 11:55 baru you nak call your friend to check whether your mic is working or not. So please don't do that. Before that, half an hour before that. Okay, so make sure everything is perfect before the time of your presentation. Okay guys, so during the presentation, what should you do? Is definitely you have to wear proper attire. Okay, up to your panels basically. Do they request you to wear a blazer, or it's just a shirt, kemeja, a shirt and tie would be enough? Okay, I'm not sure because different institution, different methods. But for a formal presentation, normally we would ask our students to look good, to look presentable as if you are coming for a job interview. We want you to be presentable. We want you to look nice, to look ready, okay? Because sometimes everything is affected from there. Everything is rooted from there. Okay, so wear proper attire. If you have a blazer, then you can wear it. If you don't, worry not, guys. I don't think that Dr. Ara beli sekarang. Okay, for the sake of our final year project, go to Aeon and buy the blazer. No, I don't think so. Okay, but if you have it, why not? Because maybe that could inject a little bit of confidence in you. Okay, so yeah. Number 2. Find a suitable setting with good internet connection, guys. It's very, very important. If you are doing it at home, try to find a space in which you can have, a good space where you can put your camera, okay, your laptop or your PC, okay. You are able to present because you need to show your half of your upper body, Okay, make sure the upper half of your body can be seen by the panels. Okay, janganlah pula you letak muka you depan-depan, okay, in front of the camera. Okay, satu talam you want to show to the panels that, for the presentation. It's not going to happen, guys. No, okay. Make sure, because I know that you have your visual aids, right? But during the presentation as well, okay, because sometimes after that, maybe you are not going to share the screen anymore. It's only you. So the panels would have to see you. Upper half of the body should be seen by the panel. So you really have to wear properly. Okay. So find a suitable setting just now. Make sure you adjust. Make sure you have a stand or tripod for your camera. If you are using a smartphone, but if you are using a webcam attached to the PC or laptop, then I think you shouldn't have a problem. All you have to do is you have to adjust first, look at the camera, how does it show, okay, to the screen, how does it appear to the screen, and if it's fine, you are good to go. Okay, so as I've mentioned just now, make sure the upper half of your body can be seen, not just your face. Dr. Ara doesn't want to see your muka setalam you. No, it has to be upper half of the face, looking very ready. It is even better if you have a table in front of you so that you can play around with your gestures. Okay, you can play around with your gestures here. Like that, you seem ready, you show that you are playing around with your gestures. And then last one is, of course, be prepared for Q&A session. Sometimes you might be interject or you might be interrupted by the panels throughout the presentation. Okay, maybe finding one when you want you are about to explain about data 2 or finding 2, okay, the second finding or finding number 2, okay, then you might be interrupted by the panels. Okay, why is it, you know, with all their what do you call that, philosophical question, okay, and with their provocative question, okay. Bear in mind, sometimes panels and examiners, they love doing that. They would give you some provocative questions just to test your confidence, just to test whether or not you really know what you are going to present, okay, whether or not you really understand your project. So they would come out with all these provocative questions, right? So be prepared for the answer to every single question that might be given by your panels, but whatever it is, you need to answer confidently. So be sure to know what you did, okay, for your project. Be sure you know your content of the project. If you know the research objectives, if you know the findings, I would definitely definitely I am confident that you are able to answer the questions accordingly, because you know your own project, okay. Other people might not, but you know. So when they start giving you provocative questions, you don't be afraid. Do not lose your cool, okay. Don't lose your cool, just chillax, okay, relax. Try to convince them with whatever you have prepared, okay. And at the end of the presentation, after everything is done, after you have answered the questions accordingly, then you can say, nailed it. Okay, I nailed it. Okay, that's all for the sharing of input today. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions so far?
All good.
All good? All understood?
Good, madam.
So I really need your feedback. Are you did you get something for today's lesson? Basically, today's sharing session. Did you get something to prepare you for your final year project?
Yes, many things.
Yes, okay. So perhaps later, Dr. Ara is going to give you today's recording, okay, today's video, so that you can fully utilize whatever you have learned. You can look back, okay, the notes and the structure that you really have to emphasize on when it comes to preparing for your final year project, guys. Okay, no question, girl. No question, Dr. Ara, if you may. Dr. Ara, if you may join.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Ara. So how is it now, Dr. Ara? Are you confident that they are going to nail their presentation?
Of course, she is KL student.
You ni KL students, yes, exactly.
Sorry,
Okay.
tengah ajak. Okay. Is there any question? Any question for Madam Nurul?
Semua faham.
Aman. Okay. Ada? Tak dengar lah.
You can just unmute. You can just unmute your mic and inshallah. Yes. Who's talking? Can you raise your hand? Because if you are raising your hand, I can see your hand here. You try to. Okay.
I nak tanya,
Okay.
yang add value to scientific semua tu, itu cakap time conclusion ke? Or?
Okay, basically it depends. Sometimes you might want to put it along your presentation, meaning when it comes to delivering your findings, right? So straight away from the findings, you can relate to the values and impacts, maybe to the community, to the scientific research and so on and so forth. That one is for the conclusion. That means it's like you ingatkan balik, you remind the panels again on why your project is a good project. That means your project has perhaps has got these certain impacts towards this particular target group, whether it's your institution or maybe for the students or maybe to the community or to the science itself. Okay, it's like you are reminding the panels again on why your project is a good project. Okay, did I answer your question? So it does not have to be at the end of the presentation. Sometimes you can put it along the way, throughout the presentation when you present your findings. Okay, definitely you might have to relate, to why, because sometimes you have your research objective, right? You explain it under introduction. So under introduction, for the research objectives, you might be able to relate to the the benefits or advantages as well. So doesn't matter. It could be at the beginning, maybe under introduction, or maybe it could be under the body itself, when you are presenting of the findings itself, or maybe at the conclusion. That means you try to remind again the panels that why did you carry out this project? How does it contribute to the society? Okay, what advantages that people could get from your project? Okay.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Okay, so in terms of when, doesn't matter basically, as long as your project has that content. Okay, benefits, advantages, impact, some values. Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Nurul Shakina. Was that you just now?
Yeah, sorry.
Was that you just now? The one who asked
Yeah.
questions? Yeah, okay, all right. Thank you for your question. Anyone else?
Sekejap tengok dekat chat sekejap.
Okay, or maybe in the chat. Oh, I don't have. Oh, okay. I don't get to see the chat here. Maybe because I'm outside of your organization. Okay, I'm outside Uni KL.
Sekejap tengok.
Okay.
Boleh madam. Tak ada.
Okay, maybe I would just stop sharing my content here, and Dr. Ara can show your screen. If you have any questions, maybe in the chat box. Tak ada, Dr. Ara?
Tak ada. Tak ada. Sekejap Okay, tak ada question Is there any question lagi? Tak ada. Okay. Now 11:42, 45. Okay, I would like to thank you very much to Madam Nurul, and I very appreciate the time you spent for us. I hope this is not the first and the last time for us to do this kind of situation. Okay, kalau tak ada question dah, saya finish this class, okay? InsyaAllah after this, I will share to you the slide of presentation by Madam Nurul.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Madam.
Okay, just a very small request. Is it possible for you to turn on your camera? Maybe we can have like a photo session. Okay.
Wow.
Is it possible? Just a photo session with you guys. I know that maybe like some of you are not even wearing clothes. Okay, but maybe like you can have like 1 minute to grab your t-shirt and whatnot. Okay, so we can have like maybe a photo session untuk kenang-kenangan. As what Dr. Ara mentioned just now, maybe it would be the first, but it might not be the last. Yeah, maybe I'll see you again at UniKL students for next session. So Dr. Ara, is it possible? Maybe we can have the together mode, right?
Sorry. Okay. Tak kamera. Tak ada kipas lagi.
Of 100 over students, I'm sure we can have like a few. Only 3. Come on guys.
Come on. Yang lelaki tu.
Malu-malu student Uni KL ni. Okay, thank you so
Fine.
much. Very lovely girl over there. Okay, hashtag calon menantu.
Manis je.
Because we don't get to see our students so often, right? So it's good that we have this photo session.
In fact, dia orang pun tak kenal sesama sendiri. Online.
Exactly. Okay, come on guys. Kenapa malu-malu ni? It's alright. We are not going to judge your hairstyle. We are not going to judge your baju. Okay, as long as it's so fun. Okay, during Ramadan, so acceptable. Okay, come on guys. Come on, more people, more people. Is that a DJ over there? A potential DJ with the big mic and a gaming chair?
No, madam.
Okay, come on guys, come on. More people, Latara. Come on, pujuklah sikit your students.
Please, jangan buat malu, okay? Tak politeknik punya student selalu dia share semangat kalau nak buat kamera ni. Jom. Cepat. Cepat-cepat kalau tak habis lah. Attendance tak lepas.
Okay, so ni yang together ni duduk rumah sewa ke macam mana ni? Two of you?
Rumah sendiri.
Okay, come on. A little bit more. Come on guys. At least a few more. Because how many of the participants today, Dr. Ara?
Around 150 plus minus lah.
167 people are here. Come on guys. We can even get 50. Okay. It's okay. A few more minutes. Come on guys, come on. Okay lah ya. Ya Dr. Ara.
Village name pula.
Okay lah, cukup lah. Okay,
Bye.
so wait ah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let me just wait. I have to like. Dr. Ara, are you okay? This one, jadilah. Okay. Alright, guys. Okay. With that, we end our session today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to our sharing session today. Okay, I hope that you may find it helpful and beneficial to your preparation of final year project. Okay. Okay, passing the floor to Dr. Ara. Dr. Ara, any last words?
Okay, thank you FYP1, FYP2, FYP Diploma. Walaupun sekarang sebenarnya bukan waktu kelas, tapi sanggup spend time to join this session to improve yourself for preparation. Okay, saya doakan semua boleh jawab dengan bagus lah. Nanti saya takut Q&A je. Okay. So saya tinggalkan kelas ni dengan apa? Tak buka majlis. Okay, selamat berbuka puasa, dan selamat hari raya.
Okay, yes. Have a blissful Shawwal in advance. I hope that the remaining days of Ramadan, you can use them wisely. Okay, asking forgiveness from Allah and so on and so forth. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Dr. Ara. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Nurul.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Ara, perhaps maybe you can share the video later on maybe on Telegram. You can share the video on Telegram with me. Dr. Ara, you still there?
Dan leave.
Okay then. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, kalau ada apa-apa nak tanya lagi boleh tanya dalam grup Ya.